Okay, all right. Oh my God. Oh, I should probably go and fix my hair, but I have to look pretty, I guess, to make to make some good content today. Um, Hello, everybody. It's Friday. Uh, got a fun story that kind of landed in my lap thanks to Lady P. Thank you, Lady P, for giving me the trust to be able to mention this uh, blunder to the world. Uh, having lived it, I appreciate you having to live it and deal with it. Actually, quite a few potential good content things have shown up in my timeline recently. I'm prepping for a Tuesday interview with some friends of ours on tunnel vision. So far, I've gotten their PR person to accept, and I'm assuming that they're going to be able to take those time off on Tuesday afternoon to do that. Good friends over at Leviathan Security, who I used to work for, and I have equity in the company currently. So, yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, exactly. I've got Lady P's threaded things, including from the MD person who showed up and a couple of the privacy folks. So that's all up in there. So, um, I would be remiss if I did not thank first our new followers, Be Kind Period, Magamash, Jar Jar 4132, and of course Digital Warhead for resubscribing for 26 months total. That's what is that? 26, that's 2 years, 2 months, and whatever that is in cat years, that kind of thing. So many appreciations of everybody who is supporting the show and supporting everything. To Digital Warhead's point, I have fixed the notifications, and I've reset the little hype boss up here. So if somebody joins or they add any bits or they cheer or anything, they'll get a nice little notification thing right up here. So I did fix that. I feel like I was remiss by not letting people have their props on the stream. So, um, yeah. So I woke up this morning to Lady P posting up some stuff on Twitter and hitting me up in Discord or after the fact because I read those. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then she'd sent me some stuff that she's defanged, but I'm going to open it up in VS Code because I wanted to show the text portions of it. So for those of you who don't know, we have a global audience. Kaiser Permanente is a fairly large healthcare system, not without it's had some troubles, like most healthcare industry, sides. If you're in healthcare and you haven't been breached, you're either ignorant about the fact you've been breached, or I don't think there's any other option. If you haven't been breached yet and had to, enact your breach policies or anything like that, you probably don't know you've been breached yet. I would just say that right there. I'm just going to be fairly salty on that. There's probably no healthcare system in the world that hasn't already been breached. They just don't know it's occurred yet. She posted up about 14 hours ago as of this time. So it's pretty early in the morning, I guess. About some breach notification, and so to give you some, there you go. So, there we go. Kaiser Permanente, of course, this is from May 3rd, so this is about a week ago, 7 days. They disclosed online tracking data breach. 13.4 million people have been affected. So if you are a Kaiser Permanente patient or have been in the past, or have anybody or family members who have been, they've probably been involved in the data breach. 13.4 million. I don't know how much percent that is of the entire patient load of Kaiser Permanente, but so they disclosed a data breach stemming from online tracking that inadvertently exposed patient information with third-party advertisers. Now, I didn't see Lady P's on the stream. If I'd had the wherewithal, I'd been like, hey, Lady P, join the Zoom and we'll get your changer up and your avatar and everything. it says that they're transmitting user information to some third-party advertising companies, Bing, Microsoft, Google, X, etc., leaking names and IP addresses, which could indicate whether a member or patient was signed into Kaiser Permanente account or service. They do say that they don't expose usernames, passwords, social security numbers, financial account information, or credit card numbers. So Lady P is responding here. 12.5 million members were founded, and we provide care, our award-winning way of, pharmacies work closely together. So it's one of those things. They leak to usernames and IP addresses of people based on whether or not they were connected. Oh, see, there you go. Thank you, Manly Mutt. Thank you for following and joining. Appreciate you. Oh, very cool. Excellent. Found us on the infosec streamer lists website. Excellent. I'm glad you could join us here on this Friday. So we're talking about the Kaiser Permanente breach, dealing with tracking pixels and disclosure of usernames and IP addresses of people who visit the Kaiser Permanente website. And the big thing I think for them is the tracking probably wouldn't been as bad, but the tracking pixels do denote whether or not the member or patient was signed in. So if you're just visiting kp.org and you don't sign in, maybe it's not a huge issue. But the fact that you're logged in means, one, you have an account, or you were or have been a patient at Kaiser Permanente, either for surgeries or for outpatient, or your primary care physician is there. So you're a patient there. So you have health record information there. It's also what you visited and what you searched. Okay. So there you go. Yeah. So, I mean, PHI is PHI. It doesn't matter if it's, Social Security numbers and operations being done. The Office of Civil Rights, or the OCR, which is under the Health and Human Services aegis of the United States government, started cracking down on HIPAA violations back in, let me see, what year did I work at Synergist Tech? It was 2012-ish. They started this audit process where they were going to be sending in government auditors with the idea of auditing company, healthcare services for HIPAA issues, and kind of putting more teeth into it, kind of like a PCI, where you're going to end up having fines. And they've had a number of fines over the years. Office of Civil Rights. And this was back when meaningful use and high trust and all of those things came in. So the Office of Civil Rights, OCR, is enforces federal laws that protect the rights of individuals and entities from unlawful discrimination, but they also enforce it. Civil rights laws, conscience and religious freedom laws, HIPAA, privacy, portability, breach notification rules, ding, breach notification, and Patient Safety Act and rule together to protect your fundamental rights of non-discrimination, conscience, what have you. So they're going in, and they've been auditing hospital systems for more than a few years now, with the idea that they would fund themselves based on the fines that were given by two hospital systems for these things. So anyway, Kaiser had been sending, based on what you searched, like Lady P said, but what you visited. They love going after health. Local hospital chain here in OKC, Integris, got hacked. Our local ambulance service just got hacked. Yeah. The problem is, they get hacked. Healthcare is such a soft target. Education in K-12 is such a soft target. We've talked about it at length and ad nauseum that, they don't prioritize budget for security. They're all about saving lives first. Why would anybody attack a hospital? Doesn't matter. It's just, you're now a target, right? You're a soft target. And so it's just unfortunate. So to Lady P's point, it's what you visited, what you searched, with a tracking pixel is a, it's a way of understanding what a person's, habits are. If they search for something like, they go to kp.org, and this is kp.org's website. I wonder if that's new. Lady P, do you know if they always put that up? Talking about web tracking technologies on the site and make sure data with third parties to enhance your experience and optimize our ability to make users aware of our services. By navigating the website, you agree to use these web technologies as described in our privacy statement. Interesting that they don't have a I don't agree with your shite, but just by dint of navigating the site, you're going to agree. You don't have a choice of turning on or off the cookies. So hey Ange, how you doing? Yeah, Ange, it would be that it's nice to believe that healthcare should be out of scope for anyone, period. Unfortunately, they have such nice juicy targets, and the data is very much blackmailable and ready to go for blackmail. So yeah, so you can't opt out of this privacy notice or the ability for them to track you. Unlike most websites now, where they have where you can select all or nothing on your cookies. So yeah, if I wanted to go and explore care, maybe I have, I'm going to be on the site whether or not I have and I'm looking for erectile dysfunction. You might see there's a ton of information here that is suggested. So why would I go on kp.org's website and search for that? Either I have that problem. Right, Lady P, to your point, yes, you can use privacy tools and privacy respecting browsers, etc. But yeah, it's like you go to kp.org, you don't even have to sign in, and now they're tracking, hey, somebody visited this site from this IP address. They didn't log in, but they're immediately looking for erectile dysfunction. Like they're trying to figure out more information from like a WebMD or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it could be something like, also from this website, you're looking for mental health, which May is Mental Health Month, by the way. We're going to be talking about BetterHelp and why you may or may not you want to use them in the near future. So, I'm from my IP address in San Diego, California. I went to kp.org. I'm looking up mental health resources. It doesn't, there's 3 people and 4 cats in the or 3 people and 3 cats in the house. So somebody searched for it. It doesn't matter if it was me or my wife or whoever. It happened, right? Now, if they were able to track host name or something like that, then that would be even worse because it's on my machine right here. So, but to Lady P's point, Ghostery, there's other privacy busting tools. The do not track cookie may or may not work on websites for that. Oh, see, I'm logged into Twitter. You're absolutely right. I'm logged into Twitter. I'm on BetterHelp's website, so God knows what kind of tracking cookie. Or no, I'm on fiercehealthcare.com talking about better healthcare. But yeah, any other websites that I've visited or is in my cache could be picked up. So they've got my web surfing habits potentially and what have you. So, Kaiser Permanente, they fucked up, right? They're giving that information to Twitter, Bing, X, and Meta and those folks. So they sent Lady P a nice email. Hey, Lady P, sorry, man. Sorry about the tracking pixels. That's our bad. You and 12 million other people, our bad. You're still going to use us because you got no choice. Here's a free year of credit monitoring. Big whoop. If you decide to elect to use it in the next 30 days, we're out $25. So they said according to regular. Okay, right on. According to regulatory filing with the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, no credit monitoring. Oh, wow, that's even shittier, man. Well, I mean, considering how many ever breaches have happened, I've got credit monitoring to the year like 2517 or something like that. So I'm pretty sure that maybe I can put that in my will and pass that down to my grandchildren. To bequeath to my grandchildren. Problem is once the singularity happens and we're all uploaded to the internets, we'll have to have breach notifications and credit monitoring in perpetuity forever. So maybe it'd be a good idea to get stock in all these credit monitoring services now. So yes, please sign me up for the upload too. Yeah. So Kaiser Permanente again, they're a somewhat small organization. They have 40 hospitals and 618 medical offices in 8 states and the District of Columbia, and 24,000 physicians and 73,000 nurses. Few people. So yeah, the regulatory filing that they have, that they put up. Oh, I see. So, okay, so these. Oh shit. Oh shit. That's amazing. Okay, so I'm sorry, I haven't clicked on this link before, so I'm just looking at it right now. But these are the cases currently under investigation by the HHS and OCR for. Oh God, it's still scrolling. We're still scrolling. Oh my shit. Good God, it's still going. Oh, and they're shit. Wow. Okay, I don't know if this is all current and updated, but this is as of what 320. The first page is only put back to March 26th. So there's at least 10 pages of 100 each. So yeah, only 910 entries potentially across pretty much every state so far in the union. I've seen. Yeah, these are potential records. Individuals affected: 183,000 for MedStar. You've got 880,000 for LivaNova US. Breach submission dates. Here's 5/7, 5/3. I mean, here's another United Healthcare one. Okay, Jesus. Let's see, Kaiser. There it is. Kaiser Health Plan, yeah, 13.4 million. There you go. Unauthorized access and disclosure. Yeah, that's going to take some time. Yeah, and I mean, every state in the union, I think, is probably on this list at some point. A lot in California. Here's Wyoming. Here's a couple that just don't exist with states because they're probably virtual or online. I'm seeing a trend here: network server, network server, network server, network server, network server. Yeah, individuals affected is probably from 25 to 13. Okay, so Kaiser is the largest one that's in this entire list of 910 people. And HCA Healthcare. Okay, so some of these are pretty old. Some of these go back to 31, and some of these have probably already been cleaned up, probably. But yeah, this is a sad website. This makes me sad. The fact that there are this many entries in the system. Good Lord. Yeah, let's go by breach submission date or what have you. So yeah, so the Health and Human Services OCR is investigating one or all of these things. Obviously, they don't have 910 investigators, and it will take a non-zero level of effort to be able to work. Yeah, so I would imagine if you've got a healthcare organization, they're probably on this list. So that sucks. So yeah. This is only the last 24 months as well. So could also be affected individuals. Right. Yeah, I mean, we're going from 13.4 million down to probably a few, 500. I think 500 is the minimum to have to report to OCR if you know of at least 500. So, small, you've got a GP in a rural town or something that's got a couple of hundred people as patients. They don't have any, EMR or EHR kind of systems. So they may be breached, but they'll never have to report it. So if you've got less than 5, if you can prove you have less than 500, or you just are ignorant of the fact, here's Andor Labs. Somebody stole 500, probably a spreadsheet with 500 names from North Carolina. Anyway, Kaiser says, our bad. You don't get any credit monitoring. Sorry, we can't afford it because we're small. Sure, it's mandatory, right? It depends on if they get. I think one of the things the OCR was concerned about for when we were dealing with meaningful use and high trust was they were going to try to use Medicare, withholding Medicare payments or government payments from hospitals for not improving their security postures. There were, when I left Synergistic in 2012, and to be fair, that's like 12 years ago, there were organizations that our company knew about that were just willing to pay the fines because it was cheaper than upgrading their IT systems to deal with. So it was like, yeah, we'll just pay the government fine of $1 million instead of spending, $5 million to upgrade the IT stuff. And it was usually a one-time thing. They never got hit more than once, or by the time OCR come around in another X number of years to do a recertification or a recheck, they would have enough, they would already be making hundreds of millions of dollars. So another million or two is not going to be a huge deal for them. So anyway, so they sent out the email to Lady P, and, it's obvious, I think, that they were using the same email system or newsletter creation system that they would use for PR marketing stuff, and they put a tracking pixel in there. So Lady P's posting up here. The breach notification was sent out. They leaked a bunch of third party through tracking pixels. She'd let me know ahead of time. Hey, Brian, get on this, and I was like, yes, Lady P. And so there was, in the image search, you have URL 2034 notifications, kp.org, WF, which was that word fence. WF is word fence, I think. And it's, open. It was a file that, let me see if I can find that in the, let me see. Now I have the stuff that she sent me, which has been defanged, has been cleaned. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, so I think it was right here in this section of the system. Let me maximize this up here real good. Oh, at the bottom. Okay. So yeah, this is it in HTML format, obviously. Talking about, here's the breach in October 2023. So it's been several months before. It's one reason I tell people at work, don't use the B word, because, especially if you're in front of lawyers, if you use the B word, oh yeah, here it is. Yeah. Oh, and thankfully she added, this is redacted. It was a tracking pixel. No kidding. So this is there's a URL in there. And then this is the tracking pixel that was added right here in this area at the bottom, and I assume it was attached to the logo, which I think Lady P said in the Twitch or the Twitter, it was attached to the banner or to the logo on Kaiser Permanente. Now, whether or not that same tracking pixel was similar to the ones they used, I don't know, or the logo was at the top. Okay, but anyway, it's just in really poor taste, and I'm almost assuming that the PR weasels or the people who put it out were unaware or completely whiffed on the fact that, oh yeah, we actually have tracking pixels on our email to gauge engagement. But the problem is if that tracking pixel is used by Facebook or Google or Meta or X or whoever, it's again another breach, because that information can be shared as, oh, all these people got this email, or, these people, it was sent to these people. So these people, now their emails potentially have been leaked, or the to and from and IP addresses have also been leaked. So it's adding on that. They also claim they got rid of the tracking pixel technology in the breach notice. Oh, okay. So so Lady P, I'm gonna ask a question. It could be they're using two different types. Could they be? I would imagine they could be using two different types of tracking technology. I don't know if it's the same or not. So, if they are using the same one that they said they got rid of, that's really, that's like triple stupid there. So. I could definitely see them using it for marketing purposes, where it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to gauge engagement and that's all we're going to do, which marketing and PR people don't, all they do is, worry about clicks. But If you're opening up or you're seeing it in a preview pane and the pane loads, then right, there is PHI. You're right, to Lady P's point, there is a way of doing it properly, which I think they have. What was that? PHI compliant tracking. Yeah, use of online tracking technologies by HIPAA covered entities and business associates. So this is March 18th's guidance was updated. So Office of Civil Rights, regulated entities are not permitted to use tracking technologies in a manner that would result in impermissible disclosures of PHI. See, they bolded that shit. And apparently Kaiser missed this memo. Maybe they didn't have, maybe OCR can find out if they clicked on the email because they've got tracking pixels. I don't know. I'm trying to make a joke there and it didn't work. For example, disclosures of PHI to tracking technology vendors for marketing purposes without individuals' HIPAA compliant authorizations would constitute impermissible disclosures. I should say that again louder for those in the back, but so what's number 9 here? They cite something called number 9. What is number 9? Oh, 45 CFR 164.8 or 508. Oh, the 508. Okay. 508, I think, is the accessibility standard. HIPAA compliance is not only violates the privacy rule, but also results in a wide range of harms to individuals or others. An impermissible disclosure may result in identity theft, financial loss, discrimination, stigma, mental anguish, and other serious. I love what they do. They have a catch-all here. Most of what you see when you read like the 13 things that are considered PHI, they have 12 things that are somewhat specific. Then they have a 13th catch-all. So they mention here identity theft, financial loss, discrimination, stigma, mental anguish, and then here's the catch-all, or other serious negative consequences to the reputation, health, or physical safety of the individual or to others identified in the individual's PHI. That was written by a lawyer, folks. 100% written by a lawyer. The issue for me, Ang, is trust. Can we trust that they don't accidentally ship that data together if they use the PHI certified Google stuff? How can we trust Google not to double dip? They've done it before, right? Right. So such disclosures can reveal incredibly sensitive information about an individual, including diagnoses, frequency of visits to a therapist or other healthcare professionals where individuals seek medical treatment. Yeah, so that is that's pretty much right where they're talking about the guidance for all of this and what you need to do. I'm sure there's a how-to down here a little bit further down, what you're looking for. Tracking technology, tracking on user-authenticated web pages. I've seen that too. It's like they've got tracking pixels after you log in, or they have like, I actually was pen testing a site one time and they had doubleclick.net, just tell you how far ago that was, on the inside after you've authenticated in. And that was immediately like a problem that we highlighted because it was like, DoubleClick is Google and that's filthy. And what are you doing having that inside your authentication boundary, sending out, metrics to God knows who or where? And I think it was a medical organization, but they weren't in the States. So just to caveat that, and it has been several years. So, right, even if Google doesn't package and resell it, they package and resell. We can't give you Jane's PHI, but we can tell you to market new baby stuff to her. Right. It's not the data itself. It's what they can do with the data or suggest for that data. So, I just looked up erectile dysfunction on kp.org. Am I going to start getting ads on Google or Twitch or X about, Cialis or, well, I already get that, but not because I've searched for it, but, there's just so much stuff they can do with the data without actually doing anything with the data, right? So it just kind of sucks, right? So yeah, they put a tracking pixel after they said they got rid of the tracking pixel information on the website, and so Kaiser said it removed the tracking technologies installed in its websites and mobile apps to prevent. So the websites and mobile apps, they didn't say anything about the email system. So maybe there's a different system there. let me have a second here. I'm said I need one, but I don't want an axe murderer. Sorry, I'm DEF CON things coming up. So yeah, they've removed maybe that specific tracking technology. There may be other ones they're using from I don't know, MailChimp or something like that that probably is a bit more compliant. I did say axe murderer, yes. So signing up for being a goon at DEF CON, one of the things they filled out in the form. One of the things they said in the form was, hey, you're going to share a hotel room with a roommate, and are you going to need a roommate? Initially, I have a hotel in about 2 blocks from the convention center where DEF CON is, but if I can get a roommate and share, then that's cheaper for me. So I made the joke with one of my friends. I was like, yeah, I put anyone down because they said if you don't know anybody, you can put anyone and they'll pair you with someone. I was like, yeah, but I don't want an axe murderer or anything like that. And so that's what I just told this guy who was like, hey, do you want a roommate together? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I use axes, but haven't murdered anyone with one yet. So that's pretty solid. Sorry. There we go. I'd rather room with somebody that I know won't murder me in my sleep or watch me while I'm sleeping. So, oh, there we go. So yeah, right on, man. So yeah, they federal regulators have warned 130 healthcare providers online tracking technologies could violate healthcare data privacy laws. Yeah, it could. They do. Obviously they say it provides a gold mine for e-crime in nation states, but it's pretty lucrative for the companies that are collecting that data. I don't know if the hotel or the hospital systems are paying Google and Facebook and Meta, or if Google and Meta and Facebook and X and all of them are Meta and Facebook. If the hospital providers are getting paid to have those tracking pixels in place, I don't know what the relationship is for that. So that is, yeah, there should be reasonable expectation of privacy when interacting with your health insurer or provider. It's not well, for me, that's not in my honest opinion. That should be a fact. The problem is it requires you to trust that your medical provider is not doing something shady at all. Yeah. It's, yeah, and to your point before, we removed it from web and mobile, but not the email and VoIP. And yes, exactly. I mean, there's just so many places they're using tracking for what could be innocuous stuff, but built up over time, it could be, hot garbage. So, cool. Yeah, it makes it easier for me too. All right. So yeah, this is not the first time Kaiser has been involved with breaches. As I was just about to say, 2022, they suffered a breach caused by unauthorized access to an employee's email that affected 70,000 individuals. Breach led to leaked patients' first and last names, medical records, dates of service, and lab tests, which that's also concerning because they're using email to pass around PHI. Probably some, Exchange 5.5 server or something like that. It's interesting when you actually go into audit hospital systems and you can walk by a printer, because they're still using printers, or faxes, and they're still using faxes, and they're full of information. And it's depending on where you go, it can be busy and people aren't paying attention, and they don't put the printers or the fax machines in places that are monitored. I've walked through hospital systems that had, the printer and the fax machine, on the other side of the room. And, if something bad were to happen, like a code blue where everybody's on hands in one room, you just walk by and snatch that stuff. No problem. No problem. It's really unfortunate, but I get it. It's the cost of doing business for them, but it feels like there needs to be a better way of doing that. The effectiveness of these correlation systems is so high, it's billions or trillions of dollars in value, so the players have spent billions developing highly intricate data correlation, and then the amount of data they exchange just redoubles the potential. And now we have AI to help them, correlate all that stuff and, save time and effort, and they're making, instead of 10x the amount of time with some fancy jump to conclusions algorithm, they have an AI that's going to be like, hey, helping out with all the ads and things. So, the AI that is being built now is going to be a glorified ad farm for people with large amounts of data that they're storing, and that's really what it is, right? But it's unfortunate. This is CPO magazine, not to be confused with CSO Online, which is starting to become really hot garbage. I'll put that link in our notes here. Oh, I am not showing my screen. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's just one healthcare provider that can't put their shit together in a proper order. I hope today was a really awful day for the IT teams, and legal is probably chewing some ass. Privacy is probably chewing some ass there. This is we'll hear more about this. The problem I have with this is, and the problem I had with OCR at the time when they were building all this stuff out, is just like most breach or ransomware attacks or something that end up with like a class action lawsuit, it's going to take years to go through and get any kind of damages or remuneration. And usually the fines are a pittance, right? I mean, Kaiser Permanente, I don't know how much they made in profit this year because they're not a nonprofit. So Kaiser Permanente earnings. Right, operating income $329 million for the year compared with an operating loss of, well, they actually lost money. Oh. I'll be damned. So they're losing money. I'm not sure how they're actually staying in business. Interesting. Oh, so they have a net income of $4.1 billion and more $100 billion in both operating revenues and expenses. Okay. So what? This is it's definitely not making a profit. That's for damn sure. Operating revenue. Yeah. Interesting. So Lady P says also there's a legal loophole for government or law enforcement that can buy that data without probable cause or warrant. Yep. Yeah. They're going to have to plug that loophole, I think, pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, so this is from 2024. Okay. They wrapped up its fiscal year, $321 million operating income, net income of $4.1 billion. Okay. Okay. And $100 billion in both operating revenues and expenses. Okay, so they're down 1.3%. But anyway, they made billions of dollars, right? So the 10 to 20 million that they're about to lose in fines in 3 to 5 years from the resulting investigation of this, depending on how long it takes OCR to get through the list of systems they've got there. I'm pretty sure with this one being the biggest one on their list right now, they're going to pull assets from other investigations to work on this one. But yeah, it's just odd. It's just terrible. So yeah, I'd imagine they have to do some creative accounting to make it look like they're a nonprofit. I won't testify to that in Congress because I don't have any ideas, but it would seem like you'd want to keep your nonprofit status any way you can. So any kind of tax dodges or what have you would be in their best interests. So yeah. So I don't know if I put this in there, but here's tracking technology for HIPAA. This is also helpful. A lot of companies that deal with PHI or PII even, are beholden to, organizations like, HIPAA or not HIPAA. They're beholden to OCR and HHS, Health and Human Services in the U.S. to, safeguard that information. And you'd be surprised at how much information actually is considered PHI, including like not knowing anything about two people walking down the street. If you can identify somebody who has a limp, that is PHI, because it's under that 13th clause where I said any other thing that might identify a person. So if you say person with a limp, okay, that denotes in a room of 100 people, that person has a limp. That sets them apart from the other 99 people, and that is a way of identifying somebody, which would put that under PHI, which is ironic. So I don't want to look at I don't want to look at all of the white executives who work at Kaiser Permanente, Lady P. It would make me sad, very, very sad. I always look at when they're interviewing people on the news, and it's like the CEO of Red Cross or something like that, and you see this dude, he's in a nice, his suit is shiny as shit, the rule for me is the shinier the suit, the nicer it is, or the more expensive it is. And this dude's got a nice fancy suit on. You can tell his tie is silk and shit. And I'm like, fuck you, guy from Red Cross. I mean, Jesus, you're a humanitarian organization and you're in a fucking $1,000 suit or whatever. I'm like, fuck you, dude. You should be in like a freaking, the oatmeal shirt or something like that. You should be in a t-shirt and jeans and shit or something. I'm like, you're probably sitting on your fucking yacht while people are, taking that money and, not doing anything with it. It just makes me mad. That's why I don't donate to things like Wounded Warrior Project, because they're litigious as shit. Red Cross, too much administrative overhead. It's really just, every time the NFL pops up the Red Cross, relief effort stuff, I'm like, yeah, it just burns my ass, because it's like, when we lived in San Diego during the 2003 and 2007 firestorms, Red Cross was like, oh yeah, give us a lot of money, and everybody donated, because San Diego, SoCal, that area. Then we found out, large amount of that money went out of the area to be used elsewhere, and we're like, we donated for that specific place. You probably should have left that money here in SoCal where it could be used. And yeah, just chat my ass. I've just been out on them forever. So hey, Digital Warhead. Hey, Digital, I know you just showed up. So if you do something right now, any kind of notifications, right up here will show up. So I fixed that just for you, bruh. So just right there. So anyway, to continue on, and we've ranted about Kaiser Permanente. They're not going away. They're not publicly traded, so they don't have to deal with any kind of SEC notifications for breach notification. But they do have OCR out the ass. We'll be crawling up in there Kaiser Permanente is a tauntaun, and seeing what's going on with Kaiser Permanente. Of course, considering they're still probably dealing with the breach from 2022, they're probably just going to pivot and start working on that investigation, because yeah, there it is right there. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you, Lady P. I appreciate you cheering. That's fantastic. It works. So, yes, excellent. So yeah, I don't know if y'all know about BetterHelp. I see them a lot on cool YouTube and Twitch channels where everybody's like, oh yeah, if you go to the Tri channel or you go to Jolly, they're all on about mental health issues, which I'm 100% behind people talking about mental health issues. But they always advertise BetterHelp, NordVPN, and fucking Raid Shadow Legends, which NordVPN, don't get me started on them. I don't play Raid Shadow Legends, but they always have BetterHelp on there, which is, it sounds in theory like a good thing, that you can get help online without maybe having to deal with going to an in-person kind of event thing. Frank Tedesco. I don't know who Frank Tedesco is. Is that Rollo Tomasi, or is that your version of Rollo Tomasi? Only got 5 bits left. That's okay. No, it's all right, Digital Warhead. I don't get any money for the ads. I actually don't. Yeah, I don't see anything like that. You can use your Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime to donate if you'd like. It's completely up to y'all. But so as of March 2nd, this is a few months ago, but BetterHelp also had to pay nearly $8 million because data misuse, right? And this is where, people tend to use BetterHelp when it gives you the ability to move therapists a lot easier. If you are a busy working professional and you can't get away necessarily to go to a doctor, or maybe you don't want to be seen going to a doctor, and this is the safer option for you. I mean, when I go and see my therapist, so far, with the exception of the first meeting that I've had with her, the rest of them have been through online through UCSD's little, telemedicine thing. So, Cloaked.com is a big advertiser too. My friend got sold on it, but it seems gimmicky to me. Yeah, I'm. I was almost in on BetterHelp. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it'd be something I could investigate, but then I was like, shit. But yeah, so FTC reached a settlement with therapy company BetterHelp, which is owned by Teladoc, over allegations that it shared consumers' health data with companies like Facebook and Snapchat for advertising purposes. See, this is the worst of the worst in this case. These are customer health data for people who have mental health issues. They're probably already feeling bad enough as it is. They're probably, for some, they're probably at their lowest in their lives, and they're about to get ads for shit, or they're about to get, spam by a bunch of fucking companies or something like that. And it all stems from something that they believe is going to help them. In this case, BetterHelp. And so $7.8 million for BetterHelp to settle charges it revealed sensitive data to third parties after promising to keep such data private. I think that's the worst thing. In a statement, BetterHelp said it does not share and has never shared with advertisers, publishers, social media platforms, or any other third parties private information such as names or clinical data from therapy sessions. But as we've seen from Kaiser Permanente, you don't have to share that information. It can just be inferred. With an IP address, you can get down to the street. There's a ton of ways that you can use OSINT, or in this case, maybe AI to, Lady P, exactly. That's, that is the ugly ads that, would be, there. But we do not receive and have never received any payment from any third party for any of our information about any of our members. Well, how can they say that shit? What if the FTC is making them pay and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we've never done anything"? How can they actually say that? I'm gonna click on the link, y'all. All right, so you can all read that. We're paying $8 million to say that we didn't do anything wrong. Fuck them people. We're deeply committed to, I'm sure you're deeply committed, you fuckers. Our technology policies and procedures are designed to protect and secure our members' information. Is not used, share without their approval or consent. See, the problem is, did approval and consent happen because, by using this app, you automatically consent and you can't opt out? My bad. Sorry. I'm an idiot. There you go. My bad. See, I get all fired up, get all antsies in my pantsies. So they say we've reached a settlement in regard to advertising practices that were in effect between 2017 and 2020. The FTC alleged we used limited encrypted information to optimize oh my hell. See, on the same coin that I hate lawyers, here's the other side of the coin. Or no, I'm sorry, where I like lawyers, I'm on the other side of the coin right now, where there's a fucking lawyer just wrote this shit, right? And wrote it in such a way as to sound like they didn't do anything wrong. They can settle and aren't found at fault, and they can claim anything they want. Yeah. To optimize the effectiveness of our advertising campaigns so we could deliver more relevant ads and reach people who may be interested in our services. So wait, reach people who may be interested in our services. Hey, we noticed you followed blah on Instagram. He uses our services. Maybe you should too. Yeah, that sounds like you didn't do anything wrong. This industry standard practice is routinely used by some of the largest health providers like Kaiser Permanente and health systems and healthcare brands. Okay, so like Kaiser Permanente, we're just doing what Kaiser Permanente does. It's fine, right? Well, I guess this means I'll never get BetterHelp as my sponsor because they're going to watch this stream and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Nonetheless, we understand the FTC's desire to set new precedents around consumer marketing, and we're happy to settle this matter with the agency. It only cost us $8 million to do so. This settlement, which is no admission of wrongdoing, allows us to continue to focus on our mission by helping millions of people to get around the world to get access to quality therapy. Yeah, exactly, Digital Warhead. Suck it, BetterHelp. And they've clarified, we do not and have never shared with advertisers, publishers, social media platforms, or any other similar third parties private information such as members' names or clinical data from therapy sessions. Okay, sure. They've never shared data from therapy sessions. Never mind that, hey, you logged in at this time and this date, and you've done it 25 times today, and you then go to Walgreens.com and download your Ritalin, or you apply for your Ritalin or what have you. Yeah. In addition, we do not receive nor have ever received any payment from any third party for any kind of information about any of our members. So they're just giving that shit away. I find that hard to believe. I find that really hard to believe. Because if you're not getting anything for that data, then why are you giving it up? So, oh yeah, here's HITRUST. Yeah, they were certified by HITRUST. Oh, that's great. If I remember correctly, HITRUST was all about, it's kind of like the SOC 2 of storing data. No data is immune. Data breaches, comprehensive, scalable, reliable, and efficient framework for risk management and regulatory compliance. It means very little. I don't want to do that. Kiss my entire ass. Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. Oh, so this is a new version. Oh, okay. I went with like the original version of HITRUST. CSF sounds like it might be different. Yeah, this is just makes me, reading that thing just makes me mad. Very mad. By the way, here's the banner down here. We process PII and PHI to conduct our business. And wait. But they don't process PII and PHI. They just said that they don't. I don't understand. Some data processing and sharing is required for our product to function and cannot be disabled. We linked. Yeah, thanks for using BetterHelp today. We noticed that during your meeting, the other thing that would be really shitty is, I don't know how BetterHelp works, but if they're using some kind of Zoom interface or something like that, there's nothing stopping them from keeping voice transcripts or audible, closed captioning or anything like that they could then scan because there's companies that already do that shit. For buzzwords or pick up stuff that they could use to go, okay, this was used 500. De-anonymizing information is a very, very tweaked thing. You could say today we have heard 500 references of content warning, mental health issues, or 500 comments about schizophrenia, for instance. Or something like that. Yeah, maybe they can auto post a status on Twitter. Ugh, yeah, I don't want to do that. I mean, they might give you the options like, hey, I saw my therapist today on BetterHelp and I feel great. I mean, they might have an option for you to volunteer that if you'd want to. The worst thing would be like is if they gave you the option to get 30% off if you click on this link or whatever. Auto. I feel like I'm going to have to go back in after on YouTube and put like, content warning, mental health issues or something like that. I probably should do that anyway, just because of this one being what it is. But yeah, so God, it sucks so bad because BetterHelp could really be doing things well for people, and they go this route, right? They did. There's weasel words in here. Where was it? They said we do not share private information such as members' names or clinical data from therapy sessions. See, I think if they properly de-anonymize that information, they can get paid for that information because it doesn't tie anyone to any kind of information about any of our members. It's the weasel words that you have to kind of read between the lines here. Yeah, leaking Lady P's PHI needs a trigger warning. That is correct, or data breach. But I think what they're doing is they haven't sent any specific information about any person or patient, and they don't have to. They can anonymize that information or do it in aggregate to say, okay, we've seen 500 people today, and 30% are talking about this, and the demographic is anywhere between 18 to 25 is talking about blah, or X, Y, and Z things. So you can say to Google, hey, somebody who's 18 to 25 who lives maybe in this region of the country might be having seasonal affective disorder issues based on information that we have or trends that we have here. We've had 500 people using BetterHelp today. The ages are anywhere between 18 to 25, and they're all from the Pacific Northwest talking about, hey, it's cloudy as fuck here, and I really wish that Seattle would, get some sunlight and whatever. Google can say, okay, you're 18 to 25, you live in the Pacific Northwest, maybe you're fed up with the sun. Here's an ad about going to San Diego for spring break. And they can sell for that. They can sell that information too. Or, hey, we just had tornadoes in the Midwest, and I just had 300 people today join from BetterHelp who were involved in the tornadoes in Oklahoma and Missouri and that area. And Google might be, oh, hey, you know what? Do you have insurance based on tornadoes because you live in the Midwest? I'm just giving information, plausible ideas on how this information can be used in aggregate and de-anonymized, so that it's not, hey, Brian went and talked to a doctor about his mental health issues, that's not specific information to me, but they could use the aggregate stuff. They don't have to say Brian Brake, who lives in SoCal, who's anywhere between 35 to 50 is doing that. So thanks, Digital Warhead. Thank you for keeping me honest. Yeah. But it just sucks that it's all about the weasel words, right? It's not the same people that are trying to protect us, lawyers, are the same people that are going to write response words like this bullshit here, where it's like, oh, we didn't do anything wrong. We didn't do anything wrong. The problem comes is when it's a slippery slope, right? You have to keep that narrow, that straight and narrow. The minute you start going, oh, well, if we could just do this a little bit here, if we could, add a little bit more. And then it's like, oh, okay, we'll let it happen this time. And then it's like, oh, we're going to add a little bit more. It's, yeah, no one proved we did anything wrong, or, the way we were handling that data, it was in such a way that, we could have done better, right? And so they made $8 million. They got fined $8 million. How much? BetterHelp. If they're not publicly traded, they don't actually have to show their earnings. So we'll see. Average BetterHelp salary ranges $71,000 per year to $81,000 per counselor. Okay. Okay, so they're still somewhat $700 million in revenue. Expects more growth. Okay, so this was in 2022, early 2022. They were purchased by Teladoc for $4.5 million, but they made $700 million in revenue in 2022, and that was post-pandemic. I bet they made fat loot during the pandemic. So they paid $8 million and assuming, let's extrapolate, let's say they made $700 million this year, last year, and in 2022. That's not even 1%. It is 1% of their 2022 operating budget. I mean, it's a rounding error, right? That makes me angry. So, makes me angry. But anyway, anybody use BetterHelp here? I don't know if you've ever used BetterHelp, you might want to kick people at BetterHelp in the teeth. Yeah. Let's see what the sharing settings are. We use our own and third-party technology, including cookies and web beacons, to connect you to therapy services, personalizing your experience, improving our services, monitoring and analyzing usage. They can hire me for one rounding error. Sure. Yes. One round. Yes, I will work for 1% of your operating budget per year. To learn more, visit our privacy policy. This is the other issue I have. Nobody follows or reads the T's and C's. I don't read the T's and C's. So, if you're going to go and do the privacy policy for these things, let's see. Oh, they've updated it in the last few days. I wonder why. Sharing settings. I don't want to allow all. Problem is you can't. Okay, so following describes categories of information that are shared with third parties and the result, purpose, and benefit of doing so if you opt into advertising. Visitor data. Okay. Our purpose for sharing this information. Sharing this data allows us to measure and optimize the effectiveness of our ads. Okay, so if you click on a BetterHelp ad, the referrer link will go and show that your IP address and what have you is visiting BetterHelp. This enables us to reach more people who may be looking for mental health support while minimizing our advertising costs, which helps us reduce downstream costs to our members. Meta's privacy policy. How do we use your information? Section of Meta's policy may use this information to provide a personalized experience, including ads, as well as other purposes such as promoting safety, security, integrity, and measurement, analytics, business services, communicating with you, researching, and innovating for social good. For some purposes, Meta uses information across its products and your devices. So yeah, you're going to get ads on Meta, because you've used BetterHelp, you're going to get ads from them. So, of course, Meta does not sell any of your information to anyone, but may share your information with vendors, partners. Wait. They don't sell their information to anyone, but partners, vendors, service providers, and third parties aren't anyone. Yes, Meta requires all such entities to follow its rules governing the use and disclose information Meta provides. I'm sure that they are right on them every time those third parties that aren't anyone does that. Great. Yeah. The fuck is a web beacon? My guess is it is a technique used on pages to unobtrusively, usually invisibly, allow checking that a user has accessed some content. JavaScript tags. Web beacons are unseen HTML elements that track a web page view. So it's like a tracking pixel, except it may be like a BR tag that doesn't show anything on the screen, doesn't change anything in the layout, but it'll have BR, and then it will be additional tags. So when it launches, then it will make a request out, or like Lady P's tracking pixel. When the HTML page email loads, it's going to make a call out to the metric server. So that'd be like a beacon, right? I'm assuming beacons are pixels. I don't use Insta Facebook Metagram because I don't like the trash spying. So I better go to BetterHelp and they give my info to Instabook Face Metagram. Yeah, exactly. You got to figure out how to put Twitter in there or something. Insta X Book Face Metagram Twits. Insta Twit Meta Face Gram Book. Yeah. So several techniques used to track who's visiting a page. You can also be used to see if an email was. Yeah, so there you go, tracking pixels. First, beacons were small digital images embedded in email or web. Images could be small as a single pixel, could have the same color as a background, or be completely transparent. So yeah, beacons or pixels. Beacons or images as well. I mean, you could put it on any image on the website that loads. Unless you're blocking, it is even a JavaScript thing. You could put JavaScript tags in as well. So yeah, AppSec at work. What do people who work at ad companies, do they have AppSec people? And what is the thought of people who work at like a DoubleClick, who work AppSec for DoubleClick? I imagine they would have to have something, right? Or privacy people. What is the attitude of somebody who works privacy at a place? Oh wait, that's not what I was thinking of. Like a DoubleClick. Yeah, no joke. Cyber criminals piggybacking on Google's DoubleClick. I worked for Rocket Fuel. We had an AppSec team. Oh, cryptocurrencies. Come on, Lady P, you didn't work for them. Cryptocurrencies? And what if you worked for Gator back in, did Gator, the wallet company, have, the electronic wallet, they were advertising before they pivoted to crypto. Okay, well, they just keep that slide going down. Yeah, pivoted. Yeah, they saw the winds of change. So let's see. TikTok may share personal information with service providers and global business partners. So they're having to manage multiple different third parties who are then sharing that information with other third parties. So by the time BetterHelp gives that information, because see, they don't know. So BetterHelp is giving data to Facebook, anonymized, whatever. Facebook has their own process by which they could potentially de-anonymize or use ways to tie that information back to you, like through your IP address or through something. But maybe you make a comment in your Facebook post or your Insta Twittergram face Meta X that says, hey, I enjoy BetterHelp. Well, you can make that connection now on Instagram. Somebody went to BetterHelp. Brian went to it, Brian's on Instagram. Brian went to BetterHelp. Brian has these certain characteristics. He's, colonoscopy years old, lives in SoCal, works at a tech company. They may or may not know who I work for, but they can do that shit all the time. You work there more than 6. Okay, for less than 6 months. Okay, that's cool. I actually was interviewing at one point with Web Trends before I moved to Austin, and I was like, they were like, well, you know what we do, right? And I was like, yeah, you're evil fucking advertising. I didn't say that, but in my head, I was like, yeah, you're an evil fucking, company doing, advertising and tracking and shit. And I was like, yeah, you do some IT stuff. And, I see you on my, my browser. I didn't obviously get hired there because I was blocking them on NoScript at the time. So, but yeah, so each of these companies have different things that they're doing with that data. So anonymizing it is great until somebody says, hey, I use BetterHelp, or I'm getting ads for BetterHelp, what the fuck, or whatever. Yeah, it's just, it's so shady. So shady. I wouldn't look in the mirror anymore working for Rocket Fuel. I did have, I actually knew somebody in Austin who worked for a check cashing company, like the predatory lenders. And I asked him, I was like, I didn't want to say, how do you sleep at night? But I was like, how do you reconcile the fact that you work for a company that is known for predatory lending? And he's like, well, I have to advocate for the customer because the people who use these services are often at their lowest point, right? They're writing a hot check or they're in need of money. And yes, while I may not agree with what the company is doing, the people who are using the company deserve to have some sort of security, right? And they're easy prey, right? So if China was accessing insert predatory lender here. These folks are susceptible to scams, get rich quick schemes. Those people would do anything to make, I wouldn't say they would, not all those people, but they could know who to target for potential scams or things that they might be able to turn over a profit or feel like they could turn over a profit when in fact they're being scammed. So I was like, I can understand that, being that kind of customer focus versus you working alongside those folks. So anyway, Lady P said, the breach notice email Kaiser sent out, they were leaking stuff. Several people were like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, healthcare is getting a lot of attention, HHS and OCR. This person, Mandy, she works with, medical companies and what have you. She works in HIPAA and high tech and healthcare and stuff. Bob Kelso, I don't know who this guy is. He doesn't mention who he is, but he has MD. I don't know if that's masters of doctorates of medicine or whatever. But yeah, he was talking about he was talking about similar. Hey Walt, I worked for Intellis. They were mildly shady. I asked about the FTC lawsuit in my interview. They said it was a test. Others were doing it. They stopped doing it and they still hired you. Oh, that's nice. I could imagine that going a completely different way. If you're like, hey, I'm interviewing for Palantir. It's like, how do you feel about being a shithole company that works with law enforcement for tracking purposes? So yeah. The other thing from Lady P that was mentioned was the tracking bits actually go back to the tracking pixels actually go back to KP's own infrastructure. So we mentioned earlier that they were getting rid of tracking technology. They obviously hadn't gotten rid of all of the infrastructure yet for their tracking, which is what made me wonder, Lady P, if they were using maybe multiple tracking technologies, like the HIPAA compliant ones versus the non-HIPAA compliant ones. They got rid of the ones that were non-HIPAA compliant, so they could say, hey, we're good or whatever. Bob Kelso. If my attorneys heard this, they'd be run screaming at me right now. I made the comment of, potentially they're a long day of meetings with leadership. You can't say the Palantir platform has some good applicable usage, not some. Just like any kind of tools, they can be used for good or evil, right? There's some people that, Palantir got really in. No, and you're fine. You haven't said anything inflammatory yet. Every tool can be used in a negative way, even Splunk, even, we have tools all the time that people, the cavalier attitude of tool release that we have is, blue teams got all the time in the world to test this new tool and defend against it. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Lady P's banhammer can be used for good or evil. So, yeah. It just sucks. And I think, not to skip off of this, but it's, Kaiser's a bottom feeding PHI threat actor. I love that. We'll probably see more about the story about Kaiser Permanente in the news. I wonder, I can't imagine the news has picked up on any of the tracking pixels, but I know, Ange. To your point, they don't have all the time in the world, and they don't have time to investigate every new tool to be able to defend against it. The problem is the people who often release the tools that they think are red team engagement tools, threat actors can use. They assume that blue teams blue team's got to learn. Blue team's gonna do whatever it is they need to do. And they just don't have all the time in the world to do that between meetings that threat actors don't have to go to justify their very existence. Blue team's got it rough, and especially if you're in a company environment that government or medical or K through 12, you don't have time to learn about every new attack technique that exists, and it's just the fact of life. So no one is explaining this in a way that 13.4 million minus a few can understand to get angry about. I would counter that, Lady P, by saying that I think I want to say we've got breach exhaustion. It's like every week we've got yet another breach. I mean, I posted that list of for OCR investigations up. There's 900 breaches of medical and BAAs that are being hit. Let me unclose that. There we go. There it is. I mean, 900 potential breaches, and that's, I mean, how many just got looked at in the last month? Let's see. We go from 430 down to, I mean, we're looking at what, another 30 or 50 or 60 that got done just in the last month alone, that were notified within a month, varying from 500 to 180,000 or better. I mean, oh, sorry, the 13.4 million is going to skew it a little bit, but it almost feels like if they had a breach, to Kaiser's point, they found out in October and it took them this long to notify people. I mean, what took them, was it 6 months to notify HHS and OCR for? I mean, why did it take them 6 months to do so? Just know the post-exploitation TTPs and we should be fine. But we're allowing these companies to frame this stuff in ways that no one outside of IT can understand. Well, yeah, you're correct about that. And the problem is, you read the breach email. I don't know how many people actually read the breach email. When I get these things in the mail now, it's just like, oh, okay. Yes, we care about your security and privacy, yada, yada, yada. In this case, you don't even get a year's worth of credit monitoring. You're shit out of luck. And there's really nothing you can do about it because you may be the only hospital in the area. Or finding a new primary care physician is going to take you 6 months, right? And to be fair, it's not the doctors causing the problem. Some of them may have something to do with it, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were reading the weasel words, right? It's like, oh, we haven't done anything wrong. We didn't directly share PHI. Well, we didn't share direct PHI. We shared de-anonymized potentially, but it's like, okay, yeah, you didn't share any of my information. We're good. We're go. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know what the future looks like. Maybe HHS is like, okay, you've got wrongdoing because you paid $8 million, so you can't not admit some kind of, negligent. You can't say negligence, but there's some kind of wrongdoing that occurred, right? It's complicated. It's really complicated. And it's obviously not going to change anytime soon until we get some kind of real teeth into OCR and HHS investigations. But yeah, it's a sticky wicket. So, what was there's a lot of threads on this email. Gigantic. So Bob says that there's going to be a gigantic explosion in federal intervention and regulation over the next few years, similar to the financial industry. See, if it's like the SEC stuff where you have to notify within X number of days of the B word, breach in this case, You can't claim wrongdoing without adjudication. That's constitutional. Oh, okay. So they settled out of court, basically, is what you're saying, Lady P. They BetterHelp and BetterHelp settled out of court for $8 million so that they didn't have to admit wrongdoing, because if it had gone to trial, then they would have had to admit wrongdoing. They didn't pay a fine because that would be culpability as well. So what, they paid a donation to OCR for operating costs? I don't even know how you can pay a fine and not have anything wrong. It's like, I didn't speed, but I'm going to pay $500 for nothing to continue breathing. It's almost, it feels almost like a little blackmail, right? The government's like, hey, pay us $8 million or we're going to, take you to court. It is kind of blackmail, isn't it? Yeah, it feels like they need to treat this very much like the SEC. If you know of a breach, or you know that the data's gone, you have X number of days or minutes or hours. In this case, 70. I think it's 72 for a breach or something. The material impact. I think we talked about that with a couple people this year about material impact of the SEC breaches. I've done that. I've negotiated a reduced no fault for traffic violations. It is a game that both the government and the companies play. If you have the money, you don't have to admit to stuff. Yeah. I just wonder where the $8 million goes. If it's actually going to fund the OCR like I had thought about, that's $8 million that OCR has for operating expenses. Alleged. Yeah. Goodness. It is a weird world. Was there any other breaches this week that we knew of? I don't know. Europol hacked. Ooh. IoT vendor. Who's this? Centeron modems. Never heard of them. RCE, unauthenticated RCE, and Centeron modems. Never heard of those. My alleged. So what do you do, Lady P? You go, oh, I'm sorry, officer. Mr. Lincoln says that I didn't speed. Oh, if Mr. Lincoln never lied, and oh wait, what was it? Yeah, Mr. Lincoln never lied. So if I give you this, will you go away? That kind of thing. Depends on the government department. Some get to keep the the prosecutor. Depends on the government. Some get to keep the money. Others have to turn it over to the general fund. I think all departments should have to turn it over to the general fund. Yeah, the way I understood it when OCR was doing these investigations initially, the idea was, they would fund their department based on the fines that they were handed out. And I asked my boss at the time, I was like, well, what does that mean? They're motivated to find stuff? And he's like, yeah, they are definitely motivated to want to fund themselves without having to be a burden on the government, because the government sees this as a losing proposition, then they won't fund OCR and it'll go away. Well, it sounds like they're doing okay. They got $8 million in funding from BetterHelp, and God knows how much they're going to get from Kaiser. Yeah. So, and of course, this props up the audit companies. Kaiser's going to hire some more, HIPAA people to come in and do the audit and everything. So that's nice. Yeah. So then you have cops stealing money from the people they arrest. Yeah. Asset seizure. Yeah. Police departments want to seize stuff. Yeah, exactly. And then it gets lost, or, we seized $8 million, or, what was that joke on, what was that joke? It used to be a joke on FARC. It was like, hey, they got, the cops seized $8 million and all 7.5 million of it made it into the property, into property control, and 3 million was signed out after for the to show the press and everything like that. So um, yeah, so I don't have any information on RSAC or RSA, so money gets impounded for years. The case never goes anywhere. Right, asset forfeiture. Yeah, yeah. Lady P went, or not Lady P, but Miss Berlin went to RSA. I guess fun times were had. We'll probably get with her, not next week because I'll be in Texas for freaking burning my 85-degree weather, burning up with pants on at a wedding. It should be nice. I mean, the wedding will be nice, I guess. So I'll be out next week. Well, at least I think the Kaiser Permanente thing was about the only bad news I think that we've seen today. Hoping to catch a glimpse of the Northern Lights tonight. Okay, digital, there's no way you're going to see the Northern Lights. I lived up in Seattle for 10 years. Every time you could see the aurora, there were clouds. I'm sorry, bruh. You're not going to see the Northern Lights unless you travel east across the mountains or something. That's the only way you're going to be able to see them. If you do see them, I want to see the pictures because it's like, yeah. It's sure it's going to be crystal clear there today, but it's going to be. I understand from both of you. Yes, it's going to be crystal clear. So far, I have never seen. There were numerous times where the auroras were available up in Seattle. Never got to see them. Now, it may be a thing where I live too far inland and I was up in the mountainous areas. Okay, you know what? I look forward to somebody actually getting to see something. There were several asteroid showers that have happened, and Lady P is gonna say, "Oh, you just jinxed them." Yeah, I don't want to jinx y'all. I don't want to jinx y'all with Cloud Deck or anything shitty like that. But yeah, I never got to see anything out. Poor digital. Yeah, I don't, Perseid meteor showers, all that stuff. It was always cloudy or blood moons or, whatever the freaking moons were called, the super moons and whatever, clouds every freaking time it seemed like. So I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing pictures of that from there. So yeah, just pea soup fog. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what, Digital Warrior? If you get video of the aurora, that would be great. We went up to the Arctic Circle, went up to Iceland in like November or something. It was like 30, 35 Fahrenheit, like 12 Celsius, and clouds. And I think they were expecting aurora as well. And it was like, clouds. And I'm like, this looks like Seattle, that kind of thing. So it sucks. The only time I've ever seen them has been on the internet, and usually they're time-lapse photos, so you can actually see the ribbons of stuff. And it's like, I don't know what it actually looks like when you're not seeing, that. So just install automatic 11111 with stable diffusion and generate the images and profit. Yep. Automatic 11111. You know what? So somebody sent that to me the other day. Llama.com, I think is what it is. Yeah. So there's several in the area. Models. Here we go. Would you call it automatic? Is automatic on here? Probably not. Nope. Automatic 11111. Stable diffusion, yes. Okay. Automatic 1111. Oh, okay. Automatic 1111. 1111. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need graphics made like instantly. I'm more than okay with, it took 45 seconds to make the lion for our podcast icon. Somebody got all shitty with me the other day on that. I was like, look, the last time we had somebody create an icon for us, we thought it was custom made, and we found out somebody had just taken clip art and put a fancy font on it. I was like, I paid $500 for that shit, and I waited 3 weeks. And I was like, I'd rather do that and make fake than get somebody who's going to shaft me on something similar. So Stable Diffusion has some real-time models available. Okay, very cool. Yeah, it's like I don't mind waiting for my stuff to generate. I mean, I do that right now for my DaVinci Resolve, when I'm playing around with it. So I got to go learn DaVinci Resolve, the Fusion engine on this thing. It's crazy. Wait, what crap was someone giving you about the logo? Sounds super neat. Oh no, Digital Warhead, there are people that are very anti-AI for generating content or pictures to the point it's like, if you even have the stink of it upon you, you're a bad person. And it's just like, I told the person, it was on Reddit too, so you take it with a grain of salt, but I was like, hey, look, we made this icon, we got this icon, it took us 3 weeks and $500, and found out it was being used by a high school somewhere in the Midwest. 5 minutes after we posted it up as our new icon in our Slack channel, somebody said, hey, look, here's your icon used by a high school. I was like, fuck. So yeah, there is an anti-AI pitch for it. And I have friends who are legitimate artists, and they're excellent at what they do. And yeah, they're very anti-AI because they feel threatened by that. And I assume it'd be the same as the bookbinders back in the Middle Ages, where they were worried about the printing press putting them out of business, and it did for the most part for them. But I don't think AI will ever get rid of true artists, to be honest. And they don't want their stuff used in AI, which is more than fair. I think that there's enough stuff out there made by corporations like the Disneys and those that could be used to train AI that they don't necessarily need, other people's designs. So anyway, I don't want to get on this. It tends to turn people off, but I appreciate art in all of its forms, whether it occurs in nature or through algorithm or through the hand of a person. I would actually pay more for the hand of a person if I actually knew that person. And I think that was what got us the last time. But it's like, if I'm working on my other side project and I need a quick NPC picture, I'm not going to, commission art 3 weeks later to get the picture of an NPC that I'm going to use for something. It's like, fuck that noise. I'm just going to make something or fake something up real good. So yeah, as long as, if an artist, as long as the artists aren't studying Rembrandt themselves and trying to pattern against Rembrandt, I don't have a problem with that. But yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to go. I think it was a good discussion. Kaiser and them are going to do what they want to do. For a lot of folks, you won't have a choice with being able to do those fixes. Too much AI being used to get rid, validate stuff like artists and not less valuable stuff like managers. I don't want to work for an AI. Not yet, anyway. Let them, get a backbone, and the minute I have an AI manager telling me to, that it's cool to jump off a cliff, or that gravity will save me, then yeah, it's like, yeah, maybe, But anyway, I'm gonna go. Be back on Tuesday. Should have our interview with Lizzie and Danny. I'm really hoping that happens. To talk about tunnel vision, which is the VPN bug that was found recently. I think I talked about it on the last stream a little bit. And we'll get some demos. I've already got all my overlays set up, hopefully, so that the Zoom doesn't suck whenever we go to do demos and share and everything. And yeah, hope everyone has a good day, good weekend. Thank you all for following. Let me go see if anybody that I follow is online, or nice to share the wealth sometimes. OffSec official. Oh, look through that. Okay. I wonder if I can rate OffSec official. And can I? Yeah, OffSec official. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. And as we're fond of saying here, you're the only you have. All right. Take care. Bye.